Hello, this is Brent Oaks and this is Philip Mann from Kappler. Miller had a different engagement that he was going to have to drive a long distance, so Philip was gracious enough to step in and cover for him. I got Peyton on my left. I don't know how that looks to you guys. Come here, Peyton. Peyton is our photographer running our video for us. So this is Peyton Sheehan. So she's here with us. So I don't want to leave anybody out. I always want to take care of everybody. But for you guys that are watching, someone please let us know to make sure you can hear me good. And if you're having a problem with that, we'll make some adjustments. But we're going to get started. I'll give us a layout of what we're going to talk about. So as you come and go, you'll have an idea of what we're doing. So again, Peyton's going to watch for us and keep up with us. But as we get into today, what we're going to talk about, we'll begin with our Provent product. We're going to kind of go from the least amount, if you want to say light protection, and then we'll move all the way in, as you can see over behind Philip here, to our level A. So we're going to talk about a Provent product to begin with, then we'll talk about some Zytron 200, some Zytron 300, Durachem. That's a great product. It's got some great uses for it. New product for these guys. Industry has had a high demand for it, so they're having some great wins and great success. Then we'll finish up with some Zytron 500, which is their level A, and then we'll talk about in the level A world, we'll demonstrate, we'll show the equipment of how the level A suit testing is done. They have a video that you can go to and see. Then we'll talk about the boots as well. So we're going to cover this thing top to bottom. Again, thank you for being a part. Stay as long as you can. If we're talking too fast, somebody raise your hand, let us know. But we're going to kick this thing off, and Philip's going to begin it. So Philip, I'll step aside, and you just take off and let our people know how we can help them. What we do is talk about just everything about the products, and I hope you can use it. And get back in touch with us at a later time. Place an order. That's where we're at. That's what we're all about. We want our customers to know that Kappler is made here in the great state of Alabama. They're made in Albertville. Philip can give you a little bit more about that as well. So Philip, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. You know, it's interesting how far we've come in the last year relative to how we've responded to COVID-19. Considering the fact that a year ago, I don't think either one of us would even comprehended that we would even be doing a virtual webinar, telecast, whatever we want to call it. While for me, doing a lot of training, I've done more Zoom calls in the last year than I have in all the rest of my life combined. So again, my title at Kappler is Technical Director. I've been with Kappler since the late 1980s, and I have done a variety of things there. Worked in R&D, ran the R&D group for many years. My primary role with Kappler today is technical support of product sales, and that's why I'm here with the folks at NAFCO this morning, is to support them as they try to promote our products, which is a great thing. So as he said, we're going to kind of work up through our product line, starting with our least protective products, and then moving up to what we show here is the most protective product we've got to display today. So when we think about selecting protective clothing, it's a process, and it involves hazard assessment and being able to properly identify your hazards so you know how you protect against them. We offer a free app called HazMatch that will carry you through the hazard assessment process and recommend particular garments based on the hazards that you've prescribed. Now, we're not going to get into the details of that today. That might be a future good topic for us.
Sure will be. Great topic.
But we're going to kind of just do a general review of several of our products, but certainly not all of our products. Again, you can see everything we have to offer at Kappler.com. So the first thing I want to talk about this morning, starting with our Provent fabric family, is a garment that is just a Provent general protective garment. And so we typically manufacture this garment in a sewn seam, so it's not going to have very high levels of protection against liquids under pressure. It is a microporous film whereby it allows moisture vapor to transmit through that fabric, making it more comfortable for the wearer. Now, of course, as we've said in the past, when you talk about barrier versus comfort, it's always a trade-off. So if you've got a garment that's very comfortable to wear, then it's going to be much less protective than a garment that would be less comfortable.
Now this garment right here, what is the most common way? As I see, this one doesn't have any
Yeah, this
booties or
is
feet.
a, you know, elastic wrist and ankles, very common, probably the most common style. It has a adhesive back closure on the zipper, and it's typically designed for a single use. We actually, you know, for some of our government work, we can call it what we say BC, very compliant for particular government activities. It also can come in a bound seam as well as a serge seam, so that bound seam is going to be a little more protective. One of probably the biggest users we have in the U.S. today is John Deere in spray painting operations. But again, this is for a nuisance hazard, as I say, you know, stuff that you don't want on you, but if you get it on you, it's not going to hurt you. Dirt, grease, and grime, spray painting, used a lot in agricultural for like crop spraying and that sort of thing. So very low end, inexpensive garment, made completely in the USA. So that's our general Provent.
Does this come
garment.
just white, or is it got any other color that this?
That
one
was
comes in?
just white.
Just white, okay.
That particular garment is just white.
So there we are. So again, if you just have some basic usage, doing something simple, lightweight, pick it up, use it, like I said, when you're done, throw it away. But a great product to use for those applications.
Yeah. General household chemicals and that sort of thing. Now, the next garment or fabric up in our Provent line is what we call Provent Plus. And we've had a Provent type product for many, many years, but about 5 or so years ago, we went through a complete redesign of this fabric, and that was brought about by the Ebola crisis and us needing to produce a seam that was completely sealed and would pass the ASTM test method on blood and viral holdout. So while with COVID hitting last year, this particular garment was of high demand. In all honesty, from my kind of personal opinion, I think for most of those COVID type applications, where a little bit of interaction with people like testing and that sort of thing, this was probably somewhat, in my mind, overkill. I think in so many, that garment could even be used in some of those live COVID applications.
Now, on the seam part you mentioned, is that something we could zoom in on, maybe show them what we're talking about there?
Well, this garment, like our Zytron garments, our chemical garments, is a two-step process to make the seam. So we stitch the seam, and then we seal over it with a tape that makes it totally, liquid proof to blood and body fluids. You can't really see the tape because it's clear, all right? But we have a model of this that's certified to an NFPA standard 1999 for emergency medical operations. So again, also in the general hospital setting, not in surgery, but in other ER, other types of applications, this particular garment would be used.
So NFPA, this would be a garment that our fire department customers can look into and purchase. And have.
Absolutely, I think that with the so many of our departments running EMT and paramedic as well, that a lot of particular applications, and it's interesting because we kind of talk about this being a single-use garment as well. One of the biggest questions I got last spring from fire departments and emergency services people is, how can we clean it so we can use it again? Which is typically not something we really want to promote,
Right.
But we provided some instructions that are available. You can call customer service and get that information. But what we said was, if you get it contaminated with blood and body fluids, all bets are off, and you shouldn't be trying to launder it or clean it.
So as you see today, we're talking specifically about the garments. We're not talking about in this case, the gloves, or as we move forward, any respirators. But as we know, as we're in this world, we deal with these products and we buy them. But those are part of the garment as well. But today we're specifically talking just about Kappler's product, the uses, how it's made, and so forth. So again, this is our Provent Plus product, and so we'll move forward.
Yeah, so when we move from the Provent fabric family to the Zytron fabric family, it's a completely different fabric design. Again, both of those products being microporous in nature. Now, as we get into our Zytron product line, we start talking about impermeable barriers to chemical permeation. And the Zytron 200, which is the lowest level we're showing you today, does have quite a bit of permeation data available on it. Now, in this particular case, this garment does not have a seal seam. It can be produced with a seal seam, that is certainly available, but this particular example is a bound seam. And so a lot of times people will say, well, you know, why would I have a chemical fabric that is not seal seam? And the answer is because it's cheaper. And there are so many scenarios, activities where people have to have some kind of chemical protection on, yet they're, you know, when they do their hazard assessment, they've got, you know, a low chance of getting something on him. It's not going to be much. And the bound seam garment can certainly be a good choice in that particular situation because it is saving them cost. You know, we had a customer a few years ago that called us, and they had an operation where they were overpacking some leaking drums in a warehouse. And they told me kind of what they were doing, that they weren't going to get low chance of exposure, not much on them. You know, they're just moving the drums with a tow motor forklift. And so we said, we think you ought to be in a bound seam garment. And so they ordered some, and a few weeks later we get a call back from the guy, and he said, man, I got a problem. Said, one of my employees came in, and he's mad at me about this garment because he said it won't even hold water out. And I said, well, tell me what happened. And he said, well, at the end of the shift, we decided to park the tow motor outside, and it rained overnight. And so the next morning, the guy comes in, and he puts this thing on, and he goes and sits down on the tow motor, and the water leaks through and gets his bottom wet. And he said, you know, that's not good. And I said, well, buddy, I'm sorry, but you didn't tell me he's going to be sitting in chemical. You know, you said you weren't going to come in contact with it. So, you know, that scenario changed. And he said, well, how much for those tape seam garments? And I said, well, they're quite a bit more expensive. You know, it's a double sewing process. He said, I think we'll just park that tow motor inside. So, but again, the moral to the story is there's a lot of applications for a chemical suit with a less than seal seam, and that's a great choice for those, you know, petroleum products, you know, grease and grime. Actually, also the fabric's very protective against acids and bases, sodium hydroxide, sulfuric acid, that sort of thing.
And this particular garment here has a boot on it. Before we move any further, how about, is there a general rule of thumb, so to speak, or does that apply that someone calls and says, I need them, but I don't know what size? Is there any practical thing? Do you have somewhere on your website can help them?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, it's a good point you bring out, is that we, with our garments, do what we call combo sizing. So we don't offer small, medium, large, we offer in a combination type. So small, medium is one size. Large XL is one size. And we do this in a way that allows people like yourself and the customer to reduce inventory, all right? We've never had any problem sizing complaints from anyone since we went to that. And we did that about 15 years ago. But on our website, in the resources tab, and a lot of our printed literature has that on there. The user manuals and the certified products have have those sizing charts available.
Yeah, and remember, guys, when you're sizing the garment, you always, it won't hurt to go a little bit larger. This is not a form-fitting product that you want to worry about, because again, as a person that's working and they bend down or squat down, if that garment is if you want to use the word a snug fit, it's going to rip at a seam. It's not going to be able to hold up. So again, this is not a beauty contest, so to speak, when somebody wears one of these. This is designed for protection and for use. Now, if a person could wear a 2X, they don't necessarily need a 4X, because if it gets too big and too baggy, especially as we move further into the more protective
Higher
garment,
level of
you know, higher
protection,
level.
yeah.
If you get it too big, it will hold chemical. And Philip can talk about that, but it can hold chemical in the folds, and when a person goes to remove the garment, then they're exposed again. You don't ever want that. So again, they have some information on their website that you can look at. We're always here to help answer those questions as well. Our customer service people be more than glad to help you.
Yeah, you know, you say something there that I always tell people myself, is that people don't wear these garments as a fashion statement. No. And without question, wearing the garments hinders their ability to get their job done. I mean, it's a necessary evil to have to wear. It's the last line of defense, OSHA says, on protecting yourself against a hazard. So we have to always remember that and work constantly to try to improve things like design and fit to make it more useful and not be a cumbersome hindrance to the wearer. All right, so we're going to go up one notch above our Zytron 200, and this garment looks quite a bit different, and I just wanted to show this from some design work. So we have certified this particular product to NFPA standards for many years. This is certified to the NFPA 1992 on liquid chemical splash. Now, we've always offered this diagonal front entry. A lot of people really like that. That's a similar design as we see in our gas tight suits. But just more recently, we've started seeing the request and have started designing garments with these elastomeric rubber face seal interfaces. You know, we like to talk about our typical garment design where it's a vertical zipper. We talk about how we've got that long neck coverall which covers that neck area, but you never can accomplish an absolute seal between that respirator face piece and the garment hood itself. I mean, we sell chem tape, we sell a lot of it, but it's not perfect in its ability to be able to seal that interface. And this particular rubber seal does an exceptional job of doing that. Now, I must point out that it doesn't work with every respirator face piece, but it works with a lot of them. And we've interfaced with MSA, Scott, Draeger, Avon, so we've worked on all of those. So that gives you an absolute liquid seal. Now, the other thing that we've started doing on what we would call a non-level A gas tight garment is we've started permanently attaching gloves. We started doing this back a few years ago for one industrial user down in Louisiana, where they were complaining about having to take gloves, and we said, you know, we've got the technology from some of our old military work where we can now actually attach that rubber glove, and that's a neoprene glove there, but it also has the film liner inside of it. You
Right,
can hear
feel
it.
that.
Okay, you can hear it. So it's got that film, and really good for fire departments, the National Guard civil support teams. This is a design of choice for them. Now, oddly enough, as you pointed out, you know, with booties and not booties, this particular garment has the booty and the splash guard. Because of the fact that it's certified, it has to include that splash guard on the outside.
So this, is that from this seam down?
Yes, sir.
So what that is, so there's a seam here again, you can't hardly see on the screen, because it's the same,
Right.
same color as the garment, but it's, I guess it's extra protection.
It's splash guard, it's
So
splash
splash
guard
guard.
for the boot, because one of the tests that we have to do is what we call a shower test. And if you don't have this covering the top of the boot, you're gonna get liquid in the boot, and it fails that particular test. But again, the other interesting thing about this particular garment is it does have an upgraded zipper from our, a lot of our normal, you know, level B, level C garments. It's a urethane coated zipper. So again, quite a bit of an upgrade, great for fire department, a lot of police departments. I know the civil support teams are using them. A lot of municipal and county governments, both on the East Coast and in California. So, and again, Zytron 300 is our workhorse. We sell more of this product in the chemical arena than we do anything else. We've got in excess of 150 chemicals tested against it, so it's a significant product for us. But you know, oil and gas. I just had a big Invista facility buy a bunch of these. So just a great workhorse product for us. To me, it's the best level B, level C thing
We're
we've got.
fixing to make a jump to a little different product here in just a minute, but is there a way, I know we can't get into chemicals, but is there a brief explanation you can give about permeation, how it's done, what it's up, is there any way you can give a little bit that says, this is why we choose this garment?
Yeah.
And again, their HazMatch it works on iPhone and, Android as well. I'm an Android person, so it works on that great. I have it on my phone, and they update this periodically as well. So the information in it is updated, and it's a great way to know. But maybe 30-second, couple of minutes talking about how we get there to know that we're keeping that product, you know, the chemical out of that garment.
Well, it's interesting because the primary thing is that these protective film barriers came from the food packaging industry, where they want to hold out oxygen and water. So we found that these films are exceptionally good at holding chemicals out to permeation. And permeation, the phenomenon of permeation is when a vapor goes through a fabric. You can have a liquid challenge, you can have a vapor challenge, but when you measure permeation, you're always measuring a vapor. It's a very sophisticated test. We don't even do those internally. We don't have the equipment to do it. And they've gotten to be quite expensive too. You know, one chemical nowadays is probably $750.
Gotcha.
But I'll also say that, you know, we continue to have a program at Kappler where if you have a customer that has a chemical of concern and we have not tested it, and there's a potential business opportunity there, we will go have that chemical tested. And if they're satisfied with the result, then we're gonna say, hey, buy some suits from us. Okay.
For, as Philip gets this other garment here, we're gonna move right along. We're up to almost 10:25, but we don't wanna take everybody's too much time here. We thank everybody again for watching, but again, for anyone that's watching that may not be using the Kappler product, again, we'll schedule a trip, a visit, go over and show you their facility. They're always ready to do tours. Of course, we got to schedule it like anything, and especially with the COVID, but for everyone to be able to see that would like to, their facility. Again, it's just in Albertville, and we love these guys. They do an awesome job, and you have a great relationship with them. So again, keep that in mind as well.
So this is a relatively new product for us. It's about 2 years old. But this was an endeavor that we worked on for 5-6 years just in the development cycle. We were extremely lucky to have a relationship with International Paper down in Prattville, and they did a lot of beta site evaluations for us on this product. But again, Durachem 200s. And what makes this product unique relative to our typical Zytron or Provent products is it also offers not only flammability protection, but thermal protection against all types of hot things. Hot stuff was actually our project name for this when we developed it. Toray over here is using this product, and of course International Paper, Invista is using this product. So interestingly enough, this is a microporous film type barrier like the Provents, but behaves in a totally different way. Considerably more expensive, but I think it does some things that these other products don't do from a specialty standpoint. Multiple industrial, most all chemical plants are either making heat to help a process or getting rid of heat that was from a process. And, you know, constantly we would get these questions about liquids at extreme temperatures, you know, 500-600 degrees Fahrenheit. And our Zytron products, we couldn't recommend those products for those applications. But here we can. We also offer this product with a thermal liner that even boosts its thermal protection. You know, we did testing against a product called Smelt, and it's a byproduct of the pulp and paper industry. 1,600 degree Fahrenheit splashes and not seeing second degree burn.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's just the thing about this. You know, this product has more pedigrees than anything else we've ever designed or offered.
Gotcha.
All right?
Any particular reason for the color of the high vis and the?
That actually came from International Paper during our evaluations with them. They, from a corporate standpoint, had said anybody that's outside on site has to be in high vis. And they, you know, our original prototype products were navy in color, and we still offer it in navy. But the high vis, based on that one particular customer. The interesting thing about this product was it was really designed and marketing, our marketing research around it was towards the industrial setting. But what we found is that fire departments are extremely interested in it too. If you think nowadays all the problems with the firefighter cancer issue and the contamination of turnout gear, and how do you make sure that you can get that turnout clean to be able to use it in other applications, we've started suggesting to use this type product for all those things other than structural fires where they have to be in the turnout. You know, it's half the weight of a turnout, it's twice as breathable, it's half the cost, and a lot of fire departments are beginning to look at that and quite interested in it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so a great new product. It's launderable up to 25 times, which is something totally different than anything else we've ever had as well.
Right. Now, does this come in a coat and a pant or just a coverall?
No, it comes in a coverall, jacket and bib trouser, detachable hood. We've also got like a trench coat style, and some other, you know, aprons. So a variety of things. I'm even working with Invista on what they call what's the shoe cover called? A spelt? Yeah. So great, again, new product relative to the other products we've got.
All right, so there we go. There's one more view of it. Like I say, it's hard to light on it.
Durachem 200.
Durachem 200 is what we're talking about here. As you see, it's got the hood on it, and it is detachable. So there we go.
Yeah.
Well, all right, let's bring in the big boy now.
All right, we're moving on up.
Like I say, we're about the time frame where we told people we just gonna turn and show this right here. Is that what we're gonna do? So let's just do that.
Yeah, I think yeah. Why don't you just turn towards me just a bit?
There
All right, there we go. Yeah, so Zytron 500. Yeah, okay. Zytron 500. You know, level A gas type, hazmat design. This is actually, if his arms look a little short, it's because this is a display model. Unless you got short arms, you don't want this particular version. But what a workhorse product for us in the level A hazmat, specified and used by the National Guard civil support teams, the Army. Fort Bragg is a big customer of this particular product. Of course, high-vis orange. We've gone to the new, much larger face shield, and also we've now incorporated the anti-fog layer in the liner, which is fantastic in the way it performs. I'm really amazed how well it does.
Talk about testing of your product. How does that, how often does it need to be, and does it have a life?
Well, good questions, and first off, from a shelf life standpoint, we don't have a predetermined shelf life. It's based on those individuals and testing that suit and how it's being worn. We always have used the term multiple use, single exposure. And that applies to any of our products, that it can be used more than one time as long as you don't contaminate it with the chemicals, like what I said with the blood and viral thing earlier. You know, level A suits are unique and good in a way because we do have a test method, a way of evaluating that's not just visual inspection. With level B and level C stuff, all you can do is visually inspect. But we test every one of these in our plant before it's shipped out. We recommend that the user, upon receipt, get the garment out and inspect it and pressure test it, and that it then be inspected and tested between uses, or at least annually. And that's to lower our risk and to lower your risk. We offer a pressure test kit, and I don't know if we can get this thing.
Set these up here, get to these in a minute as well.
This is a kit we've had for several years. It's totally automated and digital, and so it's got all the hoses, power, adapters that go into the exhaust valves themselves, and you hook this thing up and you turn it on and you push go, and it'll run the test, and you can walk off, get your cup of coffee, whatever. You don't have to sit there and tend it. And when you come back, it'll have the results of the test recorded on the screen, and then it also downloads that data to a USB drive, so you can put it, you know, on an Excel spreadsheet in your computer or something.
Now, one thing that's not provided with this case is, of course, is your air supply.
Right.
NAFCO has we put a package together of a regulator and a piece of hose and so forth. We'll even sell you an SCBA bottle if you needed that, for depending on what your application is. But you need, you know, those are things that Kappler do not supply with this case, and because they never know what the customer has already got set up.
Could be airline, could be bottle, but I'll have to say that I think I probably had your first ever prototype of that, right? Yeah.
We put
So
together a
you made me
regulator
one, so Miller and I could take it around while we were doing our road shows.
Do our best to take care of it, make it simple, but again, it's a regulator with a piece of hose that hooks right into this fitting here on the case, and it's able to pressure test the suit. And again, as we mentioned, this doesn't have a shelf life, so make sure when you're looking at level A protection, this suit, as long as it passed the test, it'll be here from now on.
Yep.
It doesn't have a life from date of birth or anything. So I have some industrial customers. Now, I've been with NAFCO basically my whole life. I've been here going on 41 years now. So we have some customers out there that have these that are 10 and 20 years old. Industrial are not being used on a daily basis, but the point is we take them out of the case for them, unfold them every year, pressure test them, they pass, we put them back. And so I don't know how many others on the market can say that, but they have a great life. But I'll give you the other side of that. Is we sold 10 suits to a customer on the interstate about 4 months ago, and they were in a chemical spill, and because of their application, they tested the suits after that particular, it was like 2 or 3 day event, chemical cleanup, and they had worn the suits without the shoes properly, and then the suits had worn holes in them. So make sure when you got your sock feet on, so to speak, your boots, if you're not in a chemical suit, you don't just need to be walking around. I don't know that I can do it with this, but you don't need to just walk around with just the boot.
As I say, your mama always said, don't walk around outside with only your socks on, and the same thing applies here.
And then we got a chemical boot that finishes that up as well. That's offered. They come in whole sizes from size 7 to 13, I believe. And so, so I think that's everything that we had to show. We had designed. We're up to 35 minutes into it.
Let's do it again sometime.
And so I just want to say thank you to everybody that attended. We are doing our best to plan another product. We're looking at April the 5th, I believe, Peyton, is where we are. That is the first Monday of the month, so we have another product available. And so we hope everybody that was able to stay enjoyed what they saw. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Again, Kappler, we have a great relationship with these guys. We love them. And again, now there's other products that are out there. We just decided to keep it, the KISS theory, so to speak, is what I like to work with. Just keep it simple. So they have a lot broader range than just these four.
We just scratched.
Yep, yeah, we just scratched the surface, and so we wanted to give you something. Again, as you saw, we started out with a garment that you could use a pressure washer with to clean up something that won't get on you. Even if you got wet, it won't harm you. And then we got into a suit that will protect you from just about anything that's out there. So again, we still, if you have any questions, give us a call. We can point you again in the right direction around the website or to their hazmats. So again, thank you guys so much for being a part, and we greatly appreciate it. So Peyton, am I leaving out anything?
I think that's it.
Philip, again, thank you.
Fantastic.
As we always like to say, thank you guys for taking time to be with us. We never take that for granted. We thank you so much for choosing to spend time with us and to purchase your safety items from NAFCO. So we're at our main office here on the Beltline. This is what we call our west location, I believe. We're what we call, we still term it the old Marvin's building. That's kind of what everybody considers it. But our showroom for our ISO, which again is Industrial Safety Options, we're up on Moulton Street, which is, we call that our east location. So come by, see Amy. She'll be glad to take care of you. Give us a call. Again, we can be reached at 800-628-6233. Again, 800-628-6233. Ask for Amy in our ISO division. For you fire department guys that may be watching, just get with your salesman. They'll help you out, take care of you. Again, thank you very much. May you all have a great day, and God bless you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Greatly
Good job.
appreciate it.
Good job.